there, Sandra here from Createinspain, and if you can hear anything in the background it's because I have my laminator on. So this card is a fun Christmas card and I'm starting off with a laminating pouch. You don't have to do this. If you wanted to, you could do it with acetate and stick things on it. But I'm going to put in some nice sparkly stars. And I'm just going to go over the whole sheet because although I don't need the whole sheet, it's easier than just trying to think, oh, where do I actually need it? So I need to hold that upright a little bit so I can get a level area. Just separate a couple of bits out there. And a few more in, so that if I want to, I can cut things off of the edges and it will still have some sparkly bits, which will be quite good. Now I've done this previously and I cut my shape out and then ran it through the laminator. I found there's a bit of a problem though because it had to be put through with a carrier sheet and it didn't melt the adhesive quite as well as I would like. So it didn't have that really wonderful transparent look to it. So I've now got some chunky glitter and I'm going to put a little bit of this in as well. If I can get the top off, which at the moment doesn't want to come out. There we go. In fact, I think that'll do. I don't think I actually need... Oh, actually, I've got a bit of a gap there. Okay, maybe I will put some more in. I will put some purpley ones. Whoops! Okay, a bit more than I intended there. Okay, that's a fair amount of sparkle. So I'm just going to close this up now. Grab a few strays and hopefully they will just land on there somewhere, and this is going to go through the laminator. It's been on for a few minutes so it should be warm enough. As I said, I tried doing this before. I'd already cut shapes out and the first time I did it, it was fine. I put the shape through, came out the other end, no problem. About the fourth time I did it, what I found was that it all got completely jammed up in my laminator and I had to unscrew the laminator and get the bits out. I couldn't get it out any other way. Oh, that's worked really rather nicely. So I now have all these nice sparkles and I can cut out my window. Now the file is linked below. So here's my circle with all my sparkly bits in. So you might be wondering what the rest of the card is going to be like. Well, something a little different. Okay, so we're in the realms of Christmas cards these days, and I've decided to do a fun design featuring Rudolph. And who wouldn't like Rudolph? And you might be thinking, hey, you got your card back to front. Well, I have and I haven't. He's also on that side. But no, I'm not planning on doing a card just with the back and the front like that. No, don't be silly. What a thought. Okay, so I have a window card. Is it starting to make sense now? So I've got my card cut out and I've got my window in there. And what I want to do is to put this in here at some stage. I'm not doing it at the moment, but that's what the card is actually going to look like. But the difference is going to have the sparkly window and it's also going to have a window frame. So this is supposed to be Rudolph looking into the house from outside. And the reason that I wanted to do it this way is so that when you open the card, you get Rudolph on that side as well. So he's on both sides of the card, which is quite sweet, really. So there's a couple of different ways you can do this. You can either attach your sparkly bit to your frame, underneath your frame, and then stick it down on there, like so. Or you can put it behind. It really doesn't make too much difference, whichever you find easiest. And to be quite honest, I think just putting it onto there would be more difficult, because if you don't quite line it up correctly, you're going to see it. But first of all, I'm going to put my frame onto my window, and I'm going to do that with a little bit of glue. Okay, I've got no wrinkled paper glue, that will do. So I'm just going to put a little glue around the edge. I've made the frame relatively chunky, so it's a bit easier to line up. When it comes to the struts, I'm going to put it on the card front itself. Just find it easier to do it that way, just in case I need to maneuver the frame a little bit. And so there we are. There's a little bit of wriggle room because we do have glue. Whoops. It helps if I don't shift it. And I think that's it. So we have our card. And we have our window frame on. There we go. So the next step will be to stick this behind the window, and obviously you can choose, if you've got a particularly sparkly bit, you can choose where you want your particularly sparkly bits to go. And for this one, I'm actually going to use some tack it over and over because it sticks well enough to plastic. So I'm just going to put a thin line of that around here. If you're wondering, I put it into this old 3D paint tube because it's got a fine nozzle. And I store it upside down, and that makes it easy for me to get at when I want it for fine projects. And then I use it directly from the actual normal dispenser when I want to restick my cutting mats. There we are. So we have quite a nice little window. Just put the glue away. There we are. And then what we need to do is to put our reindeer inside. Now you will probably find that there is a little excess card on that side. I made it slightly too wide, and the reason it was made slightly too wide is because I had to manipulate the image, and I've got a little gap there for the fold, so I allowed it a bit extra. So all you need to do is to line it up with the front edge of the card like that, and if you've got any extra here in the way of the fold, then just trim that off. So for this, what we want to do is to put our glue on the inside here. This is my no wrinkle glue again. And I'm using glue because if I don't get this quite right, it will look bad. And double-sided tape isn't very forgiving when it comes to moving things. So make sure I've got my reindeer up the correct way, which I have. And I just want to line that up with the inside edge, like so. And then when I fold it over, we have the reindeer looking in. I think he looks so cute. Now, I didn't draw the reindeer. It is a Pixabay image. Okay, so if you want some really good image ideas, go onto Pixabay and have a look. I find they're really great if I really can't be bothered to draw my own. So I think that's pretty nice. And then of course you have the reindeer on the inside as well. I'm just going to take my bone folder and fold that. And it's up to you whether you want to keep that as an extra layer or whether you don't. So you can stick it down there if you want to, or leave it free floating. It's, yeah, just a case of choice really. Finishing touches to the card, I've added a couple of googly eyes because I bought some the other day and I thought, aha, good place to use them. And yes, I know normally the eyes wouldn't be on the other side of the window, but you can't put them underneath the window very easily. And to be honest, it looks fine. We're not heading for realism here. We've got a reindeer with a red nose. And he's very friendly looking, so we're just not interested in realism. Just pop that underneath, like so. It was very carefully sized when I designed it to fit underneath the window in a nice curve. So that's it, that's the card done. In the file I've also included a little headshot, a print and cut headshot, if you like, of the reindeer's head. So you could put another one in if you wanted to. But I think that's a really sweet Christmas card, and I quite like it so that, yeah, I just like it stood so you can actually see the inside bit as well. But yeah, you can stick it down if you want to, leave it open like that if you don't. And you don't have to put the googly eyes on, that's just me. So there we go, hope you've enjoyed that card. I'll link the file down below and leave you with some more videos to watch. Take care now, bye bye.